Hi, I'm with REECE McLAREN, who's coming off Alexei Toivonen from in one FC in Singapore last night. How are you doing?
Yeah, really good, man. Thank you very much for having me on.
No worries. Obviously, I want to talk about how the fight. Obviously, you fought against a very good prospect coming out of Finland. You're ranked number 5 in the bantamweight division. Obviously, there's a lot of pressure on Toivonen because it's a massive fight for you. How did you approach the fight? Were you a bit nervous, or were you just saw it as any other fight?
Yeah, look, I was just excited to get back in there, to be honest. I honestly didn't think I was going to get another fight this year. So when we were offered the bout, I couldn't say no.
Obviously, this was, I think, one's first event back in like the fully MMA heavy card. Like we've done a couple of cards before with Muay Thai and a couple of MMA bouts. How was it being like kind of on the main event portion of the MMA card for their first big event back into MMA?
Yeah, look, this was their first international card that they've had. Being slated as the co-main event it feels like just such an honor. I'm just very thankful to be given that slot and very thankful to be here.
Was it a bit surreal, like fighting with no fans, or was it just normal to you?
It kind of felt like really, really hard sparring. It was a bit surreal. It did feel a little bit weird being backstage and you kind of wait to walk out and there's no one there. Everything's by time. They're counting you down still. Everything's done by a schedule. And yeah, it just felt a bit weird, I rise to the crowd and there was no crowd. So it was the enthusiasts, lovers kind of fighting. You can hear everything, see everything.
I've seen that first round. You've rocked Toivonen quite a few times, and at the very ending of the fight, the commentary was saying it might have been a bit of saying it was a bit controversial at the end because of we're not sure if it was like in the groin or just on the belly button of Toivonen. Where do you think it landed?
Oh mate, I know for sure it landed right in the stomach. It was not low at all. The reason that the commentator was like, there's a bit of controversy here, is because he was in a pretty bad way. He was in a very, very bad way. That knee went deep, and I already had hurt the body, so the body was already sore. He was just down for a long time.
And also, I think the way he reacted, he was like touching his like stomach area as well. I don't think he reacted like it was a low blow. I think it was a very well timed knee. Did you expect that? Were you expecting to get out there in the first round, or were you expecting a more close fight?
Nah, look, I kind of don't really expect anything. I very muchly just flow with the go. If the finish was going to come, it was going to come. If it didn't, then it didn't, and we go in the second. It doesn't. I don't rush it, but I know it's coming.
Obviously, like you're in the top 5 the bantamweight division. Obviously, you fought for the title before against Bibiano Fernandez. What's your goal to try and get back into that number 1 position? Are you open to maybe fight Danny Kincard again? Obviously, that was a very close fight. Who would you like to fight next in those rankings?
Look, anyone. I'm number 5. Give me 4. Give me 3. Give me 2. I really don't. Anyone.
Have you been able to kind of like celebrate your win yet, or has it just been pretty much just kind of like media stuff straight after it?
Yeah, look, with the protocols here, it's very strict. We basically went straight from the venue to a van back to our hotel room, and I honestly haven't left.
Obviously, this year has been quite mental in terms of what's been going on in the world, and obviously in Australia they had like the bushfires over there. How did that kind of disrupt kind of your way of living? Like how was it living there during like the bushfires? And because I think you're from like Queensland, which I think is where quite a lot of the bushfires were. What was it like?
Yeah, look, we were a bit lucky. The spot where we live never got affected as much. Down south, however, it's pretty devastating. Um, yeah, look, no, we were just very lucky with the spot where we were, and then with the COVID thing happening, we were very lucky with the government that they got onto it on time, and were able to flatten the curve, and we were able to go back to pretty much normal life. As far as my gym life is, that it was able to go back to pretty normal.
Who are the kind of guys you've been training with for this fight and just in general?
Yeah, look, I just train 100% out of Puma. We have a really good team there. I have the best coach in Australia. He's the first one to have 2 guys fight in the UFC. He obviously has me that's fought for a world title, and now, yeah, look, just my team at Puma.
Obviously you've got a lot of experience. Do you think that will help you with any? Because you've beaten 2 really good like prospects in Gary Magna and Aleski Toivonen. Do you think that kind of experience and the level that you fought will get you a lot further in your career than some of the guys that think that they're using you kind of like as a stepping stone?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the one thing that, age and experience are 2 different things. You can have heaps of experience and be young, or you can be old and have even more experience. So for sure.
Do you think you've been kind of matched as kind of like a stepping stone for these kind of new guys coming through, or do you feel like that you're kind of there to derail them, or what? How do you feel like you've been matched in your last couple of fights?
Look, man, you put the rankings aside, and we're all 1 or 2 steps away from being title contenders. We are the best flyweights in the world. I've said that for a very long time. One championship has the best flyweights. We're all here. We're all here to stay, and we're all here to put a show on.
And obviously the flyweight division is really good at the moment. Obviously in one as well, they've got the addition of Demetrius Johnson, obviously one of the greatest flyweights in the world. What kind of like the prospect of you 2 fighting? Like, how excited would that make you for that fight? Obviously, it's a huge fight. Will be have loads of eyes. How do you see that fight going if you were able to fight Johnson one day?
Yeah, look, man, that's always been the goal. You want to, if you want to be the best, you have to compete against the best, and then you have to beat the best. So that's always been a goal, and I think that'd be a high pace, high energy, very exciting fight.
Obviously, a lot of fighters obviously got a lot of like stories on why they got into MMA. What is kind of your story? Like, what's your background? What kind of made you want to go into MMA?
Look, I was just working at an airport. I always loved WWE and the wrestling side of everything. A guy introduced Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu to me and showed me that there's an actual martial art that is grappling. And I thought, man, I got to learn this. And it basically just sparked my interest. And then obviously IFL and stuff, just watching that. And then, yeah, just snowball effect. And then I found a gym, and here we are.
At what age did you kind of like go into MMA? Like, how old were you, and like what was kind of like the first impressions of it when you first went into the gym?
Yeah, look, I started when I was about 18. And it was kind of end of school sort of period, and everyone was so friendly and nice. It was a real homely sort of atmosphere. And I kind of tend to find that at jiu-jitsu places. And that's what dominantly the gym was at first, was jiu-jitsu. And then when I started to get the MMA, we branched back into the MMA game.
I was because you started at 18. Do you feel like you kind of had to rush into the pros, because obviously that's kind of like a later starter than some others? Do you feel like you kind of had to, or were you just taking it one step at a time even at that age?
Yeah, look, I was just happy to be doing it, to be honest. I didn't think that a boy from Christmas Island would be doing it. So
I kind of want to talk to you about you being from obviously Christmas Island. Obviously, it's also quite a small island, and obviously, do you feel a lot of pressure kind of in performing, because obviously you got the whole island will be watching you and hoping you do well? That's kind of what you see with a lot of these guys from kind of small islands. You get the whole island by it. Do you feel a bit pressure, or you just take it in your stride?
Nah, look, if you're feeling pressure in this sort of sport, you're in the wrong sport. They just give you so much encouragement and stuff that there is no pressure. Pressure just doesn't exist when you have a whole community that's backing you and pushing you and making you strive to do better.
Obviously you've got big plans coming up. Are you hoping to get a fight soon before the end of this year, or are you hoping to rest until early New Year?
Yeah, look, I actually box in November, and then after that, you know, I don't see anything coming up with the COVID thing. I'm going into a 2-week isolation and then boxing, and then yeah, look, I'm happy to wait out until February next year or January, but yeah, whatever the future brings, man, whatever.
Where are you boxing back in Australia?
Yeah, there's a show on in Toowoomba, so I got on that. So I thought I was going to be just boxing this year, so being here in Singapore is just a full blessing.
What's your record in boxing? Like, do you know who you're fighting for in November yet?
Yeah. Look, it'd be my professional debut. I've had only like 7 or so amateur bouts, but yeah, I was gonna go pro as a boxer.
Obviously, in Australia, obviously the boxing's starting to get a lot of popularity. Obviously, you've got good guys like Tim Zhu coming through. Do you feel like still your main priority going to be MMA, or are you going to try testing boxing for a bit, or what are your plans?
Nah, look, we only took the boxing fight because we didn't think we were going to get any MMA. So once I get this over and done with, it'll probably just be focused back on the MMA.
Last thing, is there anything you want to say to your fans and any sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
Look, I just want to thank everyone for supporting. All the support over the last couple of days has been unbelievable. So I'm just thankful. Obviously, big shout out to my girl and the whole team and family and everyone.
Thank you for coming on and allowing me to interview you, and hopefully we can do it again and speak soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
No worries. Speak soon.